Hello, thank you for clicking on the video. I greatly appreciate that. If you find yourself enjoying this video, I do hope you hit the like button down below, as it really helps push it with the YouTube algorithm. If you find yourself coming back to my channel fairly often, I do hope you hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so you can get notified about when I'm going live and my upcoming videos. Now, if you haven't seen any of the previous The Outer Worlds videos, you can check out this playlist here. And if you just haven't seen the last The Outer Worlds video, you can check that out here. Now, without further ado, let's poof on in, play some of The Outer Worlds. Thinking more about your own comfort than your people.
Fan coming up.
Where's that medical drone at? Did they fall? I don't understand what happened. He should die. I'm gonna make this slightly easier.
Detected.
Oh wow, this dude didn't die. And I can't do anything about him. Awesome. Anybody else? Nope. This is probably the easiest floor. I missed this container. Maybe I didn't.
Fugitive is a fugitive. Let it go.
The chairman himself is here. He ain't just a fugitive.
And his...
Look out! Here I go! We made it.
Okay, went there, went there. I have not been to the middle yet. That dude ever come out of that room? I don't even remember where he was anymore. Oh yeah, I do. I think it was that room. That was this one over here. Excuse me. Dropping just a bit. I see someone on the thing, but I don't know where they're at. Whatever. Last ladder. That'll get me over to this. And these. Okay. Up the next elevator. I wonder what those are about.
Really doing that, huh?
Difficult job ahead? Consider equipping a pack of Sam's special solvent stain out remover. It's ruthless on residual blood splat.
Captain, you have an uncanny talent for complicating my life. You've disrupted the balance of power. You've upset the natural order of things. You've introduced uncertainty, and there is nothing I despise more than uncertainty.
It's over, Sophia. Stand down. We're liberating Halcyon. There's not a damn thing you can do to stop us. You sure love talking. Do they pay you by the word?
Typical. Running your mouth in the middle of a crisis. It's almost as if you delight in chaos. I should have dealt with you a long time ago. You were always too dangerous to leave unchecked.
Can we hurry it along? I've got a colony to save. Oh, stop it. You're making me blush. You're all bluster and empty threats. Oh, stop. You're
I
making me
suppose
blush.
I shouldn't be surprised by your impertinence. Leaving you alive was my greatest mistake. But it is a mistake I intend to correct. I have Dr. Wells in my custody. Once I've secured his cooperation, I can move forward with the program. I can repair the damage you've done. I can set things right.
Let's talk about this. Don't test me, Sophia. It's bad for your health. You don't understand. Phineas is my friend. I'm not leaving without him. I don't enjoy the thought of killing you. That's been enough violence. There's been enough violence already. Don't test me, Sophia.
I'm aware of your
it's bad for your
propensity
health.
for violence. Halcyon is a bloodier place because of you. I take no pleasure in this, you know. I simply have no other option. Leaving you alive is too great a risk. Goodbye, Captain.
Let's talk about this. I'm rescuing Phineas, and I'm going through you if I have to. Do your worst, you psychopath. I'm rescuing Phineas.
I had a
I'm going through
feeling
you
you'd
if I
say
have to.
that. This prison is equipped with an automechanical warden. I've had it programmed to eliminate you on sight and rinse your remains down a drain. And don't worry. I will inform Dr. Wells that you died heroically, or something.
Alright, boss fight. Boss fight.
Wish I could do that. It's done.
Aw. Can't hack it. Okay. Let's see. Unequip that. Equip that. Unequip that. Equip that. We are going to I'm gonna just do you a shark thing too, because we're gonna be fighting a robot and these work better for that type of enemy.
I see it now!
Will be the same. Object is tuned to be specialist.
Here goes nothing! You got it, Captain! That's the last of them!
Haha. I think that's the first time I've ever had the same unit fully die. Same unit has definitely been one of my biggest helpers. I bet I could have made these combat drones mine with a higher hack score. Wow, that was quick. You should have heeded my warning.
Get me out of here!
You don't know how glad I am to see you. You did the right thing. Akande was a monster. Her death was much deserved, and long overdue. And you lunatic, you broke into the board's own fortress just to rescue one doddering old man. You are absolutely out of your mind, and I can't begin to thank you enough.
You alright? What did they do to you? Are you kidding? The board never stood a chance against me. You know I wouldn't let anything happen to you, Phineas. Do you have any idea how much trouble I went through to save you? Are you kidding? The board never stood a chance.
All in a day's work for you, huh? You've broken the board's stranglehold on this colony, and you saved my life. But there's still so much we have yet to accomplish. You and I are going to have to work harder than ever to save Halcyon. I'm afraid the situation is far worse than any of us ever anticipated.
I don't like the sound of that at all. Great, and I was just about to pop open some drinks and celebrate. I'm really not in the mood for your theatrics, Phineas. Great, and I was just about to
I
pop
would like
open a
nothing
drink
more
and
than to
celebrate.
celebrate this victory, but we have a serious problem on our hands. Earth has gone dark. We haven't received a single message in 3 years. There's been no communication, no signals, nothing. 2 years ago, the Earth's Directorate's frigate disappeared on their way back to Earth. We don't know what they discovered when they arrived, or if they arrived at all.
You mean we're all alone out here? Really alone?
I'm afraid so, Miss Holcomb. Halcyon is the only home we have left. Returning to Earth is no longer an option. We're in serious trouble, my friend. Do you know what this means for Halcyon? We can't rely on Earth for support anymore. We've been cut loose. We're entirely on our own.
We have a lot of work ahead of us. We best get started. Wait, hold on. I need to ask you something. We have a lot of work.
Yes, you're right. The road is long, and we haven't a moment to waste. We must begin the revival process immediately, starting with the Hope's brightest minds. And then we're going to fix this damn colony, one problem at a time. We're going to need a leader, and I can't imagine a better person for the job than you. What do you say, old friend? Will you help us?
Somebody has to run this colony. I'm the only competent person left. You can count on me. I'll help you revive the other colonists. I'm going to do whatever I've always done, whatever I want all the time. Somebody has to run
You
this
won't
colony.
hear a word of disagreement from me. When I revived you, I thought we were going to save this colony all by ourselves. But I was wrong. We can't save Halcyon on our own. We're all going to have to pull together, somehow. We are not a colony anymore. Our last connection to Earth has been severed. I don't know if we'll survive, but we're going to have to try our best.
The OSI teaches that everything in the universe happens according to the grand plan. But the stranger that arrived in Halcyon was an unplanned variable. From the moment he landed in Emerald Vale, his actions altered the course of history. The events on Tartarus brought about the end of the board's authority. But the board's mistakes would haunt the colony for decades to come. The damage they left behind would require the work of a generation to repair. Dr. Phineas Wells began reviving a handful of the Hope's colonists. Engineers, scientists, technicians, and intellectuals. They were among the brightest minds the Earth had ever sent out into the stars. The Hope scientists and engineers woke up in a colony descending headlong into total collapse. With no way to return to Earth, they had no choice but to band together and devote themselves to the cause of saving Halcyon. The people of Halcyon were nothing if not hardy. In the absence of the board's authority, many of the colony's settlements banded together with a single purpose in mind: survival. Life was especially hard in the years to come. Some towns dissolved by attrition and starvation. but most of them found a way to carry on. In the years to come, Halcyon was forced to reckon with its newfound freedom. The board was gone, and for better or worse, the colony was responsible for its own destiny. Sanjar's civil liberties and worker-centric policies were slow to catch on with the other corporations. But as Halcyon began its long, arduous journey toward recovery, many of Terra 2's smaller townships started adopting MSI's alternative corporate structure, and eventually became entirely self-sufficient. In the coming years, many of these townships managed to eke by, where otherwise they might have starved. Consumed by paranoia, Lilia Hagen took Sublight Salvage in a controversial direction, openly accusing board officials of an extraterrestrial conspiracy. One day, an accident at the Groundbreaker's docking bay silenced her forever. Time would tell if her replacement could keep the Sublight family together. Adelaide McDevitt replaced Reed Thompson as the leader of Edgewater. She and her followers transformed Edgewater in their image. Anyone loyal to Reed was pressured into leaving town, and those who stayed behind adapted to her way of life. Adelaide transformed the old cannery into a new garden. The nearby Edgewater Cemetery provided a convenient source of fertilizer. Under the leadership of Junlei Tennyson, the Groundbreaker held firm against corporate influence. The ship's mechanical stability gave Junlei the time to educate a promising generation of engineers schooled in her family's traditions. The future of the Groundbreaker looks promising. The rediscovery of the Hope and the abandonment of the lifetime employment program forced Byzantium to come to terms with some uncomfortable realities about the state of Halcyon. While Byzantines were reluctant to surrender the luxuries they'd grown accustomed to, the board's diminished authority gave them little choice in the matter. Nearly everyone had to learn to make do with less. Some even had to get jobs. It was a dark time indeed.
Dark time indeed.
Your influence shifted Ellie's perspective. She finally admitted, albeit grudgingly, that she just might need other people. Sometimes. With a steady income from the life insurance payouts, she was finally able to afford a ship of her own. She hired a small crew and flew supply missions to communities on the fringe. Some of them were even legal.
Good.
Life in Halcyon was sobering for Felix Millstone. The grand revolution he dreamed of never came. There was no great awakening for the colony, no celebrations in the streets. There was only the hard, desperate work of trying to repair a broken colony. Felix never had a head for numbers, but if there was labor to be done, he was there to help. Eventually, Felix realized that the work of a revolution was done with two hands. As much as he enjoyed his adventures aboard the Unreliable, the vicar, known as Max, eventually decided that it was time to move on, to live out the life he had sought so long to create. He knew there were many in the colony who carried burdens much worse than the ones he had struggled with, and he devoted himself to easing their suffering wherever he could. He only ever took up arms again to defend the defenseless. Unshackled from a lifetime of striving and fighting the universe and himself, Vicar Maximilian de Soto was finally at peace. Once the matter with the Hope colonists was resolved, Junlei bashfully asked Parvati if she'd like to join her permanently on the Groundbreaker, and Parvati enthusiastically, if somewhat awkwardly, agreed. The stories of her adventures spread across the colony, and Parvati soon found herself the center of attention. Having served as the engineer of a renowned spacecraft, tramp freighters and wildcat miners sought her out by name, and in no time, she was a fixture in the Groundbreaker's mechanical ecosystem. She and Junlei were never far apart. Nyoka returned to Monarch to take another crack at making a permanent life for herself. She formed the Charon Group, an MSI subsidiary of ragtag survivalists and wilderness experts. Anyone in need of a guide, or just looking to throw back a beer and swap stories, could find her camping on the trail, or clearing an infestation. The SAM unit that accompanied you spread awareness of the product line's superior sanitation and maintenance capabilities across what was left of the colony. This led to a boost in SAM unit sales. Did you know that SAM units are the longest-lasting, toughest-acting cleaning solution in Halcyon? Minister Clark was released from house arrest, and his contact with you gave him a sense of renewed purpose and vigor. Once it became clear that no help would be coming from Earth, he threw his considerable efforts and talents into helping Halcyon manage the crisis before it. As for Dr. Phineas Wells, he spent his remaining years in his orbital lab. Though he was always haunted by the failures of his past, he was determined to make things right by building toward the future. The revival project was hard and painful work, but in the end, despite limited resources, over half the Hope's colonists were successfully revived. Even after Wells passed away, the Hope scientists and engineers worked night and day to pull Halcyon from the brink of collapse. Their efforts continue to this day, which may be reason enough for optimism. Dr. Wells laid the groundwork for the project to save the colony, but he would never live to see the fruits of his labor. He passed away a few years later. His work was carried on by the scientists and engineers he revived. Life will never be the same in Halcyon. It is widely agreed that the colony has a chance of stabilizing within a generation, owing to the hard work and determination of the surviving colonists. Recovery is a distant goal, and the path is long and uncertain. But the people of Halcyon carry on, determined as ever. And what about you, the unplanned variable in the history of Halcyon? You brought an end to the chaos on Tartarus, and proved yourself the most capable leader left in the colony. You administered the colony in your own image. With the old power of the board destroyed, a new government of Halcyon rose with you at its center. With your steady hand, you guided Halcyon through the turbulent years that were to follow, and helped ensure the survival of the colony until the end of your days. No one knows what's happened to Earth, and no one knows what the future has in store for Halcyon. All we know for certain is this: the name of the Unreliable and that of its intrepid captain will remain the subject of countless stories for years to come.
Yay! We ended up saving Halcyon! Barely. Okay. Gotta thank the developers and stuff for this. This was actually a pretty good game. I ended up quite enjoying it. It was a little bit repetitive at times because a lot of the enemies and stuff weren't super complex or anything. So beyond that, it was a really good game. The story was really well done. The visuals were great. I loved the visuals. So yeah, it was a good game. It's quite enjoyable. Feel sorry for the... I'm glad the people from the Hope ended up, even though they were cannibals, some of them ended up becoming cannibals. The one that survived ended up being able to keep most of the crew, or most of the pod still alive. So that's good. That's going to help Halcyon quite a bit. I am glad. Ended up doing quite a good job. But yeah, the only thing I really didn't like, the reason why the game felt repetitive though, was because once you got like light machine guns and assault rifles and stuff, like there was really no point in picking up other guns. They were pretty much useless and pointless. The snipers were probably pretty useful if you decided to take like super long range fights, but most of the game you wouldn't have been able to do that, so they were pretty much useless. So really, you just wanted something that could quickly take out enemies pretty fast. And I mean, once, as I said, once you grab the light machine guns in the beginning or the heavy machine guns towards the end of the game, stuff died so quickly that it didn't. There wasn't a point in having it. I would have liked more variety in the enemies and how you were supposed to handle them, because a lot of the time it was just a shoot until it was dead type of thing. Having more diversity in the enemies would have presented more of an enjoyable game. Credits take so long. There's so many people to reference. It's a good game though. It's quite enjoyable. The story is the thing I liked the most about it. It was definitely a very intriguing story. I am curious what would have happened if I would have just decided to turn in Phoenix at the beginning, but I'm glad I decided to continue helping him and trying to save Halcyon. Once again, thank you for clicking on the video. I greatly appreciate that. I do hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you all next time. Peace.